Help if I'm unmuted. So, welcome to day 3 here of the Champions Cup. Oh, come on, Anton. There we go. Gets it turned in the end. Right, let's just let a few more of you guys jump in and jump on board before I get cracking. Mind you, there's about 4 or 5 of you, so screw it, let's just get going. So welcome to day 3 of Champions Cup. This evening I am watching Group C. Where is my standings? Here we go. So the points in Group C currently stand as OBB with 166 points. They are taking the lead overall out the entire Champions Cup at the moment. Let me find an OBB driver. There we go, his tap. So Team OBB are taking the lead at the moment. Let me find... Thank you, Perry. Let's just find the Starbucks. This is the driver we're after. So we then have unlock phone, thank you. We then have GoDaddy in 2nd place at the moment. We then got I'm trying to figure out whose liveries are who. There we go. We then got FedEx in 3rd, and then we got a Starbucks car. I think this might be a Starbucks car. It's green, that's close enough for me. So then we got Starbucks bringing up the rear, who are joint last, excuse me, between FedEx and Starbucks at the moment. So Team FedEx and Team Starbucks are looking to score plenty of points to try and get out of the bottom relegation zone at the moment. So the rules and the standings for tonight. So we got a double race again. Obviously we're at Lewis Lake Tri-Oval. We're in the snow. This should be home turf for Iggy, who is the runner for the Rally Series in ALR. So this should be home turf for Iggy. We got a 5-minute qualifying session followed by 19 laps around this track. Now, like yesterday and like last night in day 2, where we had the go-karts going around Blue Moon, we had a Joker lap. This time we've got the same, but we got 2 Joker laps. Let's jump on board with Anton in the background. So you got to go down the pit lane twice this time to make your Joker lap. I'm going to try and get people's names tonight so I can then start ticking them off. In fact, I really should have brought a piece of paper in, which I don't have. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm going to go and get a piece of paper. I think just 2 seconds. This will work, please. Right. Here we go. So we are not too far off from starting on the qualifying session. I'm just going to write people's names down, hopefully by team as well. I'm just going to back out just for a moment. No, I'm not going to go out on track. Would be great fun if I could go out on track in a Corvette. I don't think I'd last that long. Racing green. As people are slowly crashing into the outside wall on the foot turn one, excuse me. There's going to be, I reckon there's going to be a fair bit of crashing on the outside. People are going to be trying to send it in a bit too hard. This. So we've got EUS as we are now starting qualifying, so we're going to stay with these guys. We've got Aero. Again, he should excel here because he's usually good when things get slippery and wet. Let me just go through and make sure I've got everybody. As Eroticos has got himself a 3-second penalty already. He's not even made it out of the first corner. Iggy taking the lead up the pack at the moment, so I'm just going to go through the grid, make sure I've got everybody's names, because I'm going to try and keep an eye on the Joker. We've got Perry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. KR28, here we go. Last one. Right, I have got 11 drivers' names, so I'm going to try and keep an eye on who comes in for their Joker laps and when. But obviously, it's going to be a bit tricky whilst I'm trying to commentate on the race and potentially keep an eye on comments, as AB does a beautiful little power slide going into the final corner. Fracas has joined us eventually. Hello, Fracas. In the bottom there, as who's just coming in? That is not the racing line, my good sir. So who's going to work together? Who's going to be team? Who's going to try and help each other? Joe's definitely not going to try and help Tap, as Joe gives Tap an almighty shove up the ass going into turn one. Both completely clatter the outside wall. No damage done to either car, luckily. Let's go a bit further forward. Iggy's open up a healthy gap. Let's see what sort of lap times we're going to be after. It's taken 1 minute 23 for these guys to get on the out lap. It's maybe about 125. We will have to wait and see, as we're nearly at the halfway point. Iggy sends it in backwards into the final corner. Can't quite keep the power slide going. A bit further back, Anton has better luck. Who is that in the background? Joe is sending it completely sideways in the final corner. I'm going to quite enjoy this one, I think. People are sending it completely sideways. What sort of lap times are we looking at then? Suspension working overtime on Iggy's Mini, a 116 from Iggy. No. Anton with a 114.4, so no, excuse me, we're looking at the 114s, not the 123s. Anton sent it a little bit too hard, as we are at the 3-minute point of this race. So everyone's gone over the grid. So as our so we've got Anton in first, Taps in second, Joe's in third, Perry's in fourth at the moment. DI Stra, I'm just going to say Stra, if you don't mind me saying. Stra's in 5th, Eroticos is in 6th, Mills is in 7th, Iggy's in 8th at the moment, KR28 is in 9th, AB's in 10th, and H Racing, excuse me, not HR Racing, H Racing is in 11th, bringing up the back of the grid at the moment. Look at these two beautifully sending it in. backing it in very nicely into this last back corner, as there's a little bit of contact between Joe and Perry. Perry giving Joe the FedEx move and covers him in snow and dust as well. So Perry showing his displeasure for FedEx. His parcel clearly has not been received very, very well in previous history. What can Perry do this time? 0.7 of a second slower. Iggy improves. And he improves up to P6 though, as these guys are completely sideways and going a bit further back. Strut sent it a bit too hard and has gone torpedoing it into the outside wall. Let's go a bit further ahead. Someone found, oh god, H Racing has understood what the right pedal is used for in a Mini Cooper and has found himself all the way up into second position. So great lap there from H Racing, and it's still ever so slightly improving. Anton's staying in the pits at the moment. I don't think he's going to be able to improve that time. We've got 10 seconds to go, so no one's going to get a third lap. I'm going to try and get this. There we go. Iggy, can he improve as we come over the line for the final time? Melissa is behind him. Over the line. He does not improve. Milos, on the other hand, does improve. Does H Racing improve? Here it comes. Don't think he's going to. Oh, he does. He only does just about improve, but it's not enough for second, so he's going to have to settle for third at the moment. As everyone's come over the line, so we've got Anton in first, Milos in second, H Racing in third, Tap in fourth, Strat in fifth, Joe in sixth, Perry's in seventh, Iggy's in eighth, Rodkos is in ninth, KR28 is in 10th, and AB is in 11th. So if we look at the teams, Anton's coming out to do his outlap quick. So we got OB in first, Starbucks in second, FedEx in third, OB in fourth, and GoDaddy in fifth position. So it's a slight advantage to OB at the moment. This is a snowy track. Anything could happen. Right, let me just hop back onto the YouTube app. Awesome. I have no idea how much longer Anton's got. I've always found the Minis weird with the speedo in the middle. It was originally started with the old Mark 1s, I believe. But the speedo was probably about the size of one of the air vents. So over the line comes Anton to finish off the qualifying session. Here we go. So there are the race results. The top three are only separated by about a tenth, maybe just over a tenth of a second. So it is advantage OB at the moment. The FedEx are in a good spot at the moment. Starbucks, on the other hand, only have two drivers this evening, so they're going to struggle to score some points. This is going to be a big opening and a big opportunity for FedEx to make up some ground. Although GoDaddy have got to be a little bit careful because they are within reaching distance of these guys tonight. No, Perry's not in first. Anton's in first. We're just going to go from this point of view as we've got 5 red lights. And away we go. Who gets a good start? Milos on the left gets quite a good start for the Starbucks team, excuse me, as the grid will sort itself out in just a moment. He's going to take first at the moment, only by half a car length, because we're going to turn it into a right hand corner. Anton does send it in, but he's not going to be able to send it in quite hard enough, as Milos goes out high, wide, and keeps his foot absolutely pinned. He's going to get a very, very healthy gap to begin with. Taps challenging Anton for second place at the moment. The two OV drivers are now in second and third, going back behind. H Racing is in fourth. Great start for FedEx. Joe's in fifth at the moment. A good start for both FedEx drivers. Strassen's dropped down. Iggy's got an okay start as well. No one's dropped off the back either. I think I might just stick and chase Cam this time. Silhouette drifting. I love Silhouette simultaneous drifting as Perry comes and then a little bit too hot. So does AB. AB goes in a little bit hot, grinds the barrier on the exit. This is going to allow Erotikos to get a better drive. So through goes Erotikos in the background. KR28's making a good start. Iggy's now up to 6th after dispatching Stra. Now can Tap and Anton eat into the race leaders. The top three, nearly top four, all collide into the wall at turn 1. Does anyone else collide into the wall? No, everyone keeps it quite nice, neat and tidy. Anton in the slipstream of his teammate. Is he going to go for a push? Yes, a little bit of a push. He might be a little bit too late though. It's probably just going to be enough. He's definitely starting to eat into the gap ahead of him. Tap taking a slightly tighter line. It's going to bring him a little bit closer. It's just about got into the slipstream range. That slipstream has just saved him from dropping off the back of P1. His teammate on the other hand is dropping off. Here comes H Racing. Can H Racing use the slipstream? Can he send it up the inside, or is he going to try the driver out on the outside? No, he's going to go for an inside move as he gets completely alongside, brakes a little bit earlier, only a tad earlier than his counterpart, as Anton slams into the wall early on in the corner. H Racing just about keeps it off the walls. Joe in the background hits the wall as well, so through goes H Racing, down goes Anton. Anton's not having a great couple of opening laps. No one's jokered yet. Bear in mind there's 2 jokers to do this race. Tap has lost out a lot of time compared to Milos, who's in first at the moment. Let's go a bit further back. Joe is having a look all over the back of Anton. He had a little bit, a massive moment, and completely sends it, smashes Anton out wide. Anton's going to lose a lot of speed and momentum, so back goes Anton. H Racing has managed to get past Tap, so Tap's now dropped down to 3rd. Joe's now up into 2nd. This is great for FedEx at the moment, and their situation a bit further back. Anton's coming into the pits to serve his first Joker lap. Who else? Anton and Erotikos. There we go. They've both been marked off my list. So I want to just keep track and see if anyone misses out. Let's go a bit further forward. Stra all over the back of his teammate Perry. Perry struggling a little bit here in the snow. Let's go a bit further forward. Iggy's in 5th. Tap's down now, down in 4th after being passed by Joe. So we're going to step up in the top 4 because these FedEx drivers are driving like they've got parcels, fragile parcels in their boots. Tap gets a great run over Joe, but Joe's got the inside. Joe completely sends it, goes 90 degrees, almost perpendicular to the racing circuit. Tap gives Joe a little bit of a push. Anyone going to joke at this lap? Tap is. So Tap's coming in as well. Anyone further back? Perry is coming in for his first Joker lap. So's Stra. Let me just get. And so's KR28. Let's jump back further forward. AB's grabbing his first Joker lap 2. So that's pretty much half the grid have just jokered. Ooh, what's going on with Perry? Perry's had a little bit of a moment going into one. So he... Aeroticals in 7th at the moment, following Anton, who has recently jokered, who's now behind Tap, his teammate. So Tap is the... Yeah, he is. So Tap is potentially net P1 at the moment. Anyone up ahead jokering? No, the top 2 are not. Top 3's not. Top 4 are not. So does anyone go for... Now everyone back here has already jokered. Anyone going to go for their second joker and get it out the way now? As Tap gets a little bit of air. So does Anton. So does Eroticos. They're all hitting that bump. Getting a nice little bit of air. As AB's cut the pit line on either the entry or the exit. He's got himself a 3-second penalty, so that's going to harm his race even more. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to join these two. Come on, Eroticos. Drive like you've got parcels in the back of your car. Let's go a bit further forward. Let's see who does what this lap. So top 4 are not coming in. Tap is slowly starting to close the gap down to his teammate. So we got OB in 4th, 5th and 6th at the moment. We then got FedEx in 2nd and 3rd as Malus slams into the turn 1 again. Eroticos comes in for his second stop. Eroticos, there you are. So Eroticos has made his second stop, so has Stra. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Who else is coming? Who else has come in? And Perry as well. So Perry's done his second stop too. So a lot of these drivers. So both have got 2 of GoDaddy's drivers. Oh no, Aero's cut the pit line, so he's got a 3-second penalty. That's not going to help him either. Not much is going on at the moment. They're all kind of starting to spread out just a little bit. As we've got the caffeine powered Mini Cooper at the front. We've got H Racing Green with the fastest lap of the race at the moment, staying pretty consistent. Joe's in 3rd with FedEx. Sends it almost perpendicular into turn 1, keeps it off the wall. Just a bit further behind is Iggy, with Tap closing in, just kissing the wall. Anton just behind him as well, so both these two are slowly catching up. The other Starbucks driver's in 7th at the moment. Stra's in 8th, struggling to get that Mini to turn, with Eroticos in 9th, and Perry, who's scraping the wall, in 10th at the moment, honking his horn in displeasure. Whoa! AB is completely perpendicular, completely sideways, slightly overcommitting to the corner. lost a ton of speed in the process. Let's go a bit further back up to the front. Again, not much really happening as H Racing Green comes in to make his first stop. We're not going to jump on the pit lane because that's just boring. Iggy comes in at 2, so Iggy's going to make his first stop. Anyone further back? As Eroticos, I believe, might have just made him. Yeah, he has just recently made a mistake, so through goes Perry for 9th position. Iggy's come out in 6th, just behind his teammate, about 1.5 seconds behind. Well, let me just let that gap settle down. Just about 2 seconds behind his teammate. So the people yet to stop. Everyone has made one stop except for 2 people. Who's Joe, who's in P2 at the moment, and Milus, who's in first for Starbucks, although that is about to change as he makes an aggressive beeline straight for the pit lane. And Joe comes in as well, so everyone has now made at least one stop. We're now waiting for the people to make their second stop. H Racing Green comes in to make his second stop as I say that, so that's H Racing Green all sorted out as well. Milus comes out ahead at the moment. He's going to hold first, but Tap's got a good amount of momentum over Joe. Can he try and go around the outside of Joe? He's going to give it a good crack as he ends up slightly riding the wall. Joe slides up to try and block him. They make a little bit of contact on the exit. Joe just about holds on to second place at the moment. Is that K Racing Group? Is that K28? K28 has made his second stop too, so that's K28 done as well. So Eroticos chasing down Perry. We're going to go back up to these guys as Tap has made a very, very good run. He's now alongside Joe. Joe's now on the outside for this next right, well, the third right-hander, turn 3, as they both send it sideways into the final corner. Tap gets a little bit tighter and a little bit nicer and smoother. This is going to give him a very good run compared to Joe. Joe is losing out a little bit of momentum. Who's going to come into the pits? Tap's coming into the pits. So is Anton. Joe tries to come into the pits. He's going to have to bail out of it though. So Anton and Tap and Milou. So Anton, Milou and Tap all have done their 2 stops at the moment. So there's 3 drivers left who are yet to make their second stop, which we'll come to in just a moment. I want to make sure. I might have missed a pit stop. I'll need to double check that. But we're going to come back here. Iggy challenging Milou for second position at the moment. The Starbucks driver's on the outside. Iggy's got the inside. Doesn't quite have as good a run as FGR, who is in the Starbucks car. I might have to rely on the comment section in a minute to make sure that a driver has made a second stop. Iggy gets a very good run. FGR goes out a little bit wide, going further up ahead. Joe comes in to make his second stop. So does Iggy. So FGR is going to take the lead, and probably with a sizable gap too. So Iggy is making his second stop, and then we got Joe's making his second stop. So the only one that I'm not too sure has or made a second stop is this driver here. Apart from that, everyone else has made 2 stops. So it's a race to the end now with about 6 laps to go. Let's come a bit further back as Joe's got himself a 3-second penalty. Anton's going to make a good run using the momentum. Can Tap follow him? Iggy's just about a second or so behind his teammates at the moment. Tap got a good amount of momentum, but it's not going to quite be enough as we come up and over the hill. Joe's got the slipstream of Anton ahead of him, as it's getting a little bit later here at the snowy track. I believe it's the only snowy track on GT7. Very close-up shot of the roof, as we all love to see. Things that we never really want to see. Tap completely sending it. So is Iggy, but Joe has managed to get himself alongside Anton. Initially gets up to third, but that's not going to last too much longer, because there goes the brakes, there comes the penalty line, and there goes Joe. Joe nearly goes into the pit lane. Very nearly goes into the pit lane, so Iggy's going to capitalise as well. So it's OBE 5th, 4th and 3rd. We then got FedEx, who's wall riding him their way around turn 1 in seconds. We've got Starbucks leading at the moment, so it's going to look good for points for Starbucks, but it's going to look even better for the points for OBE at the moment. Let's try and find ourselves a little bit of a fight. There's not really much of a fight going on. Okay, R28, I saw that on the top right of my screen. Has a little bit of a moment going into turn 1. Let's see what AB can do. Completely sends it so hard he nearly ends up spinning himself out. He's here having good fun, that's the main thing. So, with 6 to go, what can the rest of this field do? I think it's kind of not really much happening. Let's try going a bit further back. What's going on back here? There's nothing. Okay. Oh, it's going to be one of these races. I'm just going to have to talk complete bollocks. Probably for about another 10 minutes. Speaking of how to drive, this is not a good demonstration of how to drive on the snow. Perry slams it into the outside wall in turn 1. KR28 sliding beautifully out to the outside. Let's see how AB sends it into turn 1. Very hard is the answer we are looking at. To be fair, I'm not sure if I could do any better. Let's just see. There's not really many people closing up. Eroticos, never mind. Eroticos is starting to close up on the back of Strauss. So we're going to stay with Eroticos for a lap or so. Let's see if he can close up the gap. It's 1.3 at the moment. It is slowly coming down, so he's had a very good run. 117. Eroticos has got a little bit more speed. Let's jump on board. As Strat slams it into the wall, so does Eroticos, but Eroticos gets a better... He's looking at the gap. No, he doesn't. Doesn't really get that good of an exit, so that gap's opening. The gap from Joe to Iggy is about 1.3 at the moment. It's about 1.3 from Iggy to Tap. It's about 2.1. Yeah, everyone's kind of about an equal distance apart. No one's really gaining. Some people gain and some people lose some time. Going a bit further forward, Anton's managed to close that gap down to about a second, but H Racing has a slightly better exit, so it gets a better drive down the main straight. So we start lap 16 of 19, so we've only got a few laps left. Let's see what's going on back here. Erotica's still 1.3 seconds. Anything further up ahead? Anton slowly bringing that gap down. Very slowly. Anton got the fastest lap of the race at the moment at 1:14.5. It's very similar to his qualifying time. I think these are these are the closest two on track at the moment. Let me just double check. Yep, they are the closest to them. Oh no, AB's a lot closer to KR. So no, we'll jump on board with Anton as he's brought that gap right down. Let's see what he can do coming out of the corner, the final corner of turn 3, excuse me. As H Racing opens up the gap just a little bit, he opens it up to 0.6 of a second. But Slipstream is going to be Anton's best friend at the moment. He's going to start pulling that gap down. As everyone slams it into the top of the wall. The gap's just opened up a little bit, but Anton's bringing it back down. Now he's back into, not quite into Slipstream range, as H Racing opens up that gap just a smidge bit more. So Anton not quite in Slipstream range. Now he is. Now he's going to feel the effect of the toe. But that gap just opens back up a little bit again. We'll stay here. The gap from H Racing opens up that gap considerably. It's now opened up to about a second. So Anton's lost a little bit of time mid-corner. Let's go a little bit further back. Iggy has managed to claw his way up a little bit. Stra's lost out to Eroticos after, I believe, just having a little bit of an impact on that final corner. So Eroticos is now up to 7th. I can't believe I missed that. Going a bit further back. There's not much going on, apart from Joe completely sending it sideways into turn 1, following Iggy's footsteps very, very closely and well. Anton brings that gap right back down as we're coming on to the final lap of this race. What can Anton do? Can Anton get any distance or close that gap just a little bit more? He does. He sent it in a little bit earlier and a little bit tighter, although that does cost him a little bit more on this second straight as we're coming up to the last corner, turn 3. H Racing sends it a bit too hard and a bit too high, so through goes Anton. Anton now goes up into second place. He's opened up that gap to 0.8 of a second. Now it's closing back down rapidly. H Racing's got a very good run. I got moaned at earlier for missing things, so I will come back to the rest of the grid in just a moment. Let's see how H Racing does. Turn 1, he takes it a little bit tighter, a lot tighter than everybody else. Anton goes up high and wide, clips the wall. Let's just go through the rest of the grid quickly. Anyone close? Not really. We're going to come back up to these two as Anton has opened up that gap to just over 0.7 of a second. Joe has caught up to the back of Iggy, so Iggy's got about half a second to the back of Joe, but that doesn't matter, as let's find him. There he is. FGR has commanded this race. He's now got the fastest lap of the race of 1:14.3. Found him in the end. What's the gap like to H Racing? It's probably not going to be close enough, as FGR Malus comes over the line to take victory here in the snow. I believe it's the first time we've had an ALR race in the snow as well. Anton's going to take second. H Racing's not going to quite have enough in the tank to power past Anton as we go up and over these hills. Anton gets second, H Racing gets third, Tap gets fourth, Iggy holds off fifth to Joe, who's in sixth. Eroticos gets seventh. Slipping and sliding around, Stra gets 8, Perry coming up and over the hill for the last time gets 9th. KR28 in the Starbucks liveried Mini Cooper. It's going to come over these jumps for the last time. And over the line for 10th, and we're then going to follow AB in the GoDaddy Mini Cooper for the last time. How hard does he send it in for this time? Sends it a little bit hard. Keeps kicking out the rear. Kicks out the rear just a little bit more. Up over these jumps and hills for the final time. And comes over the line for 11th. So there we have it. There is race 1. So, whilst we grab the result, well, I say whilst Iggy grabs the results, we are going to talk about the next track and the next circuit. So we might have a few drivers changing out, we might have some leaving, we might have some staying with us. Rottikos is left, so I don't think he's racing in the second race. So we're then going on to the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sports. We're then going to Catalunya National. So we're going over to sunny Spain. For an evening race, we got another 5 minutes of qualifying with 19 laps around Catalunya. 4 times tyre, 3 times fuel. Racing softs and mediums available as Lord Hans joins us. Now the rules for this next race is that the racing softs must be used. So 19 laps around Catalunya National, you could either do a soft medium or a medium soft. There is a lot of strategy choice ahead of us. A lot. No, I'm not going to go to track with a Corvette. As fun as it would be, I'm not going to go to track. So just a reminder of the results in the Mini Coopers. It is going to be advantage OB at the moment, with Anton finishing in second. Starbucks are going to pick up a good handful of points over GoDaddy, because the first GoDaddy car, is in 8th. And then the final 2 are in 9th and 11th. So GoDaddy didn't have the race they were looking for on that particular one. Starbucks may have got first, but they also got 10th as well. So the pressure's going to be on for those two. We're going to be looking for green and blue. As we're going to have a few laps of practice. And also it's going to give me half a chance to see if the cinematic cameras are going to work. Perry looking at potentially improving here at Catalunya. He was down at the back of the grid, struggled a little bit in the snow, but now we're back on firm hard ground. I'm surprised Perry struggled a little bit in the snow, but now we're back on firm hard ground. Perry might be able to pick up the pace a little bit and might be able to have a bit more of a stronger performance. Strata in the background going almost sideways, nearly losing it through the final chicane. We'll see how some of these drivers do. Tap has already got himself a 1.5 second penalty, so his practice session's already going well. AB's also got a half second penalty. Fracas is in, so welcome Fracas. We then got KR28, one of the first Starbuck cars. Then got Lord Hans in the FedEx car, and we got Joe in the other FedEx car too. So we'll have a look in a minute and see what sort of times we're looking and expecting. So the penalty line's on the start-finish straight. That could cause some implication for some drivers. Sorry, there's a little bit of lag in place. yeah, like, the camera should be fine. Don't see any reason why it shouldn't be any different. So Iggy's got the fastest lap at the moment, 1:15 dead. So what sort of time am I expecting? Definitely 15s and 16s, I reckon we can expect. Now KR28 is the only one practicing on the mediums at the moment. Everyone else, I believe, is on the softs. Yes, everyone's on the softs at the moment, apart from one. So, unless KR28 is unaware he's on the mediums, this might be interesting. Is there also only one Starbucks car? So I'm just going to check the rest of the grid. There should be 2 Starbucks cars. There's only one. So, Starbucks could be in a lot of trouble here. Let's see. The chat over on the left hand side. So we'll just stay in here at the moment. BX has joined. Wait, did I just read that right? I think BX has just joined us. I thought he was in lobby A. So, BX has joined us. Unintentionally, I believe. I don't know. We'll see. Fracas doing the ultimate stylage and styling. Fracas is doing more Fracas things as well by exploring the unused part of the track. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, he's pulled over, he's stopped. There we go. So a few more coming in. Let's see who else is in. Okay, BX doesn't have a livery. This ought to be... This is not going to get confusing at all. Let me just double check the Discord, because that probably says something. Right, so BX is going to be racing for Starbucks with half points, I believe. Two seconds, let me just double check. There we go to an actual car and let you guys watch whilst I figure out what's going on. Right, qualifying has started, so I can confirm, quite comfortably confirm. Right, so BX, he's not going to have a livery, but he is racing for Starbucks and he's going to have half points. So, if BX wins this, it'd do Starbucks some good, but they're only going to earn half the amount of points though, so we'll have to wait and see. Fracas is already doing Fracas things. So let's see what these drivers can do. There's a mixed group and a mixed group of drivers, a mixture of tier 1, tier 2. I think there's a couple of tier 3s in here. I haven't really seen any tier 3 names I recognise, and there's some tier 4s in here as well. I say tier 4s, old season tier 4s. So let's see what these guys can do. None of these guys are really backing off. Well, I say backing off. Joe finally backs off, whereas Stra's going to try and stay with Perry. Perry's going to try and stay with Fracas as we come onto the flying lap. Going further up ahead. Who's that last one that comes out? KR28 finally comes out, and he's just wasted 1 minute 30 seconds of his qualifying time, and he comes out right into the line of traffic as everyone's going to come out onto their flying laps. So I reckon about a 115. I reckon a 116s, 115s. Potentially, but then again I was wrong with the last set, but I'm just ranking off what Iggy's practice time which is a 115. So let's see what these guys have got in them today. Remember, these guys have got 19 laps around this circuit. They've got to use both the soft and the medium tyres. Ah, Fracas went back into the pits and has come back out again. Okay. And so is FGR, who's also racing for Starbucks too. So we've got 2 Starbucks themed liveries that have not loaded in. So Iggy is in second at the moment. HR Racing is in first with a 114.8. Tapstone a 117. BX is in third. Which I'm just going to let all the guys come across the grid at the moment. FGR still not happy with something with the car. He's not got much time to go and set a lap. He's got to do an out lap and a fast lap. So we'll stay here just for a moment. I'm just going to let Oh, who was that? Who was that? Who was that? I think that might have been Stra having a bit of a moment. A bit confused. Bex has gone in and come back out. Yeah, and he should be okay. So H Racing Green still holds the lead at the moment, to just under 0.3 of a second over Iggy. We then got BX, who's 0.007 of a second behind Iggy. Perry's 0.6 of a second behind, in fourth at the moment. Joe's in fifth. Stra's in sixth. Taps in seventh, now giving Perry a nice healthy tow down the main straight. Lord Hands is in eighth, now cutting the chicane or getting out of the way for Fracas. We got AB in ninth, who's about to set a time. Fracas is yet to set a time, who's in 10th at the moment. AB goes over the line to slightly improve on his previous lap. So we got 30 seconds. Fracas now goes up to 7th. Let's go a bit further back. KR28 has a penalty on that previous lap, so that lap time didn't count for him. Joe pulls over to get right out of the way and comes off the track completely. So that's Joe's qualifying session done. KR's going to have to basically put everything into these final couple of corners because the timer is about to go now. The 5 minutes are up, so whoever comes over the line now, that is it. What can KR do as he's got his teammate FGR just in the background following him through? Tap does a 1:16.6, so that promotes him up to, well, that keeps him in 8th position at the moment. KR doesn't quite do enough to get out of 11th. What can FGR do? FGR goes up to first. He takes provisional. He takes pole. Well, I wouldn't say provisional pole. He takes pole by nearly 200ths of a second. So FGR planting it on pole on the very, very last lap. He leaves it right to the end to do that. H Racing Green's in second. Iggy's in third. BX can't improve, so stays in fourth. Perry's in 5th, can't improve either. Joe's in 6th. Stra's in 7th. Fracas is in 8th. Tap's down in 9th. We got Lord Hands in 10th. AB in 11th. We got KR 28th, who brings up the rear. He's going to start last at the moment. So FGR does it again. He starts on pole. I believe he started on pole last time. We're just going to wait for the countdown timer to come through. I think it might be Fracas that needs to finish. Might be Joe too, I doubt it. But it might be, no, we'll see. So I just watched Fracas come through all of the traffic. He has now put the mediums on, so unless he just did a lap on the mediums to make sure he started on the mediums, because I'm guessing it's normal tyre rules apply of whatever tyre you do your qualifying session on is what you start on. So a lot of these drivers looking at starting on the softs. That's a little bit early, Fracas. Just a smidge bit early. But you did it. Yeah, I don't know what we're waiting for now. There we go. So let's just go over the results. So it is Starbucks that takes us over with the lead at the moment, with FedEx in 2nd, OB in 3rd, Starbucks in 4th, GoDaddy in 5th. So top 5. So it's looking good for Starbucks at the moment. If KR can have a good race, then it might go KR's way, it might go Starbucks' way. This absolute great lap from FGR right at the very end as well. Slams it up into pole position. So who's pinning it already? BX is pinning it already. So we've got 3, 4, 5 red lights. Revs have been built. And away we go. Who's going to get a good launch? We're all going to get about the same launch because we're all in the same car. Iggy swoops across it. BX's nose straight away. Perry's got a very good launch. He's already trying to contest BX, but going to be going around the outside. Perry breaks very, very late, ends up going off into the AstroTurf. Joe goes up the inside. So does Fracas, so does Stra. Lord Hans is trying to have a little go. Fracas goes spinning off into the gravel, so back goes Fracas. Stra's now up into 6th, cuts the corner, so that might be a penalty. And that's going to be on the opening lap as well, which is going to be very, very damaging to his race. Yep, there it is, a 1 second penalty, so that's going to be massively damaging to his race. Going further forward, H Racing Green, excuse me, falls down to 3rd. Iggy's now trying to contest for 1st through FGR, excuse me. H Racing gets back up the inside of Iggy, so Iggy now drops back down to 3rd. As the top 4 haven't changed, they've changed throughout the lap as Joe, excuse me, really clobbers the inside curb. Stra's clobbering every curb possible at the moment. He's going to fall back down, so the top 4 have finished the opening lap in the same positions they qualified in. Joe is going to be the only exception, so up comes Perry, down goes Stra, KR Racing has made an absolute excellent start. Is now all the way up into 7th position. Stroll now falls down to 8th. Lord Hans is in 9th position. AB's in 10th. Tap's down in 11th. And Fracas is down into 12th. But Tap and Fracas are both running the medium tyres. So it's going to come back their way a little later in this race. They might be able to go deeper into the race to begin with, as AB has a huge moment. This is going to allow Tap to try and go up the inside. This kink right-hander is going to go up the inside, does make it work. So AB drops down to 11th at the moment, but he is on the softs. Let's have a little look. Lord Hans is on the softs in 9th. KR28 is on the softs in 8th. Stra's in 7th on the mediums. Perry's on the mediums. Iggy's on the mediums. He's just dropped down to 5th after being passed by Joe, who's on the softs in 4th now at the... BX is on the softs in 3rd. H Racing is on the softs in 2nd. And FGR has now got himself a 1 second penalty and is on the softs. So Starbucks' Hope has now got themselves a 1 second penalty. So he's got 1 lap to do the best he can. But H Racing's going to be able to see this going a bit further back. Iggy's managed to get back past Joe. We're going to stay back here with these two because these two are putting on a good show for us at the moment. Iggy defends going into turn 1. So all of OB are on the same strategy. They're going to go into the mediums to begin with, get the slower tyre out the way, then they're going to go try and quicker. Can't speak English. They're going to go onto a quicker tyre at the end of this race. Iggy gets a little bit sideways as we come over the right-hander down the back straight. As we now come on to the hardest break, one of the hardest braking points on this circuit. Joe has a little bit of a nose up on the inside. Iggy just about gives him the space, but gets a much better driving traction coming out of the corner, so it's going to keep 4th position at the moment. Perry's just behind with on the mediums too. So Iggy and Perry can afford to fight, whereas Joe kind of can't really. So what type of exit can these guys get as we come out of the chicane round the final corner? Famously in the MotoGP world, for those who follow MotoGP or follow motorbikes, where Rossi went up the inside of Jorge Lorenzo back about 15 years ago now. So FGR now falls back down to 3rd as Joe nearly goes into the back of Iggy. Everyone twitching and sliding. Let's go a little bit further up. Let's check the rest of the pack. So BX has got himself a half-second penalty. H Racing's got himself a lovely half-second gap at the moment, although it's slowly falling. There is a half-second gap though that he can play with. Joe goes a little bit deep into the one on the hardest braking points on the corner. Perry's going to capitalise. Excuse me. So through goes Perry, down goes Joe. His tyres might be starting to get a little bit better of him. Let's go back, check the rest of the grid. It's KR28's tyre. Wow, he's used a lot of that soft tyre. Jesus. Okay, I know this tracks are hard wearing on the front left, but oh my god. He's been really leaning on that tyre. So Tap now up to 9th. Lord Hans is in 10th. Fracas is in 11th after having a bit of a spin at the start of the race. He's starting to pick up the pace and bring the pressure back to Lord Hans, who's in 10th at the moment. Then got AP bringing up the rear in 12th. H Racing's managed to open that gap up to about 3 seconds, excuse me, 2.93 seconds. FGR's got back ahead of BX after BX served his penalty. Iggy's now starting to catch up to the back of this group. The soft tyres are still very much the quickest tyre at the moment. It's not quite at the window for switching, but BX's tyres are looking the most healthiest of all the soft runners. They're actually looking nearly as good as some of the medium runners. So BX being very, very cautious with his tyres. Let's have a look at Joe's tyres. They're not looking too healthy. Maybe another lap, but the driver I'm more interested in for tyre wear at the moment is KR28, as he struggles to get into the chicane dives into the pits early as well, so that he might serve his penalty. I'm kind of curious actually. Can you serve your penalty whilst you're in here? We'll find out. We'll come back to him. So this releases Tap. This is also going to release Fracas and Lord Hands, who's recently dispatched Lord Hands on around that circuit. Lord Hands' soft tyres aren't looking that good either. So we don't go into the pits. Was that someone nearly going wide? Lord Hands very nearly goes off the circuit, uses all the track and a little bit more, and goes wide again. Oh, AB, I saw that in the background. Makes some big mistake, goes off and loses a ton of time. So that's AB's out the running recently. No, you don't serve the penalty, so... Oh, no, he does serve the penalty. He does serve it at the very end of the pit lane. FGR's got himself a half-second penalty. I've missed something going further up ahead. Iggy's now up into third position. BX is down into fourth. We're going to stay with these two as FGR comes into the pits to make his stop. Let's jump on board with BX. Iggy makes an early move to the right to defend the inside line. BX is now going to be shown the outside. Iggy goes deep into the corner. BX is going to get the switch back. Not quite, as we're now side by side coming out of turn 1. Iggy's now got the inside for turn 2. BX is going to have to concede that going through to turn 3 as we come charging up the hill. BX has got a little bit more of a run. It's kind of one line through here though. He's got a much better run as we come out of turn 4. Come down the back straight. Iggy defends the inside. It's not really a corner you can go too wide around, but BX is going to look for that switchback. It's not going to happen this time around. So Iggy holds second at the moment. A captain racing another team for another team. Yeah, you tell him, Deco. You tell him. Let's name and shame him, Deco, shall we? Yes, I have called you out, Deco, because I can. Coming out of the chicane, BX gets a little bit squiggly and a little bit sideways. BX is only racing for this team because he is a reserve and Starbucks needed an extra driver and BX was available. So BX is only scoring half points for this team. As Joe comes in to make his stop. He's got bumper damage as well, so he's had a collection with the barrier recently. Tap goes through. Stra has a penalty, but we're going to go a bit further forward. We're going to make sure we keep an eye on these two. Iggy opening up that gap just a little bit. That gap is starting to come back down again though, as we're back down to 0.2 of a second, so the attack is going to be back on for BX in the final sector of this lap. Are we coming up to lap, people? Potentially we are. Lord Hans has come in to make his stop, KR28's come in to make his stop, Joe's coming out after making his stop. He's gone on to the mediums. FGR's come out in 9th, AB's in 8th, Fracas is in 7th, Tap's in 6th, Stra's in 5th, Perry's in 4th. And that is the grid. We then got 3rd BX, 2nd is Iggy, and H Racing is pulling away in the lead at the moment. Iggy's got a fantastic exit, but not quite as good as BX's, who's managed to get a little bit better. He's in the slipstream now. I'm going to risk taking a sip. For those who have watched my streams before, especially this season, I say this season, season 19, whenever I try to take a sip of water or liquid of some description, someone in tier 4 white crashed it or made something happen. So it kind of became a bit of a running joke that I couldn't take a sip of water. Let's run through the rest of the grid. What else is going on? Anyone closing up? I'm going to keep an eye on Iggy and BX. We've got FGR's making moves. He's up into 8th at the moment. Fracas doing well. Tap's doing very well as well. Both of these two started near the back of the grid. Stra having served his penalties in the comfortable and strong 5th position. Perry's just observing these two. Surely BX is going to have to come in shortly. He's making these soft tyres last a very long time. almost as long as H Racing comes in to make his stop. So this is going to really, not really release Iggy, but this is going to make Iggy lead the race at the moment. He's just opening up that gap a little bit. Not quite enough to get out of the slipstream range towards the end of the straight. BX throws that Porsche into turn 1. Does cut the gap down a little bit, but not enough. Let's see what he can do through the lap. The gap is very, very rapidly shrinking. We're just going to come back as FGR does manage to undercut H Racing. H Racing's come back out onto the softs. So is H Racing going to do a soft medium? I wonder. Which potentially is on the cards, unless he was on the mediums and he was just super quick and I didn't notice. BX has a moment, comes in, he's going to now try and undercut Perry. No, Perry, excuse me, Iggy, not Perry. Perry is the driver behind him. So, Iggy now is going to take us over for another lap in the lead. So, let's see what H Racing can do on those softs. He's bringing that gap down to FGR little by little, corner by corner. Let's see where BX comes out. He's not even been serviced yet. Now he's being serviced. So AB comes in as well. So is H Racing going to be able to get... H Racing's going to comfortably get past. So... I said the undercut. The overcut has not worked for BX. So the undercut has worked very nicely for H Racing. He's given himself around 3 to 3.5 seconds behind him to play with. So let's go, sorry for skipping a little bit too much, let's go a little bit further forward. Iggy stays out, so does Perry. So these guys are going to stay out for maybe another lap or two, try and get the softs. I don't think they can get the softs to last to the end. Tap tires are looking very, very fresh and healthy. H Racing's not really pulled that gap in to FGR. Tap comes in after mediums. He's going to try and get a little bit further up the field, and I'm trying to potentially undercut Stra, who's got himself a half-second penalty, and his tyres aren't looking too great at the moment. Iggy opening up nearly a 3.5 to 4 second gap over to Perry. Does he come in this lap? So he does about 6 laps on the softs. Let's find out. No, he stays out. He's going to go again. As he's going to start catching up to the back of Lord Hans very shortly. Let's go back through the rest of the grid though. Perry comes in. Start struggling to get the car to rotate through the first part of the chicane sequence. Fracas in fourth at the moment with FGR just behind, who's now got Racing Green, who's warmed up those soft tyres. He's waking up a little bit. Where are these two going to come out in relation to Perry? Perry just been served, not quite yet. Fracas is coming in as well. FGR's got himself a half-second penalty, which is going to put a lot of pressure on him at the moment. Let's go a bit further back. BX is coming out in 7th. Tap comes out just behind KR28. KR28's been on the mediums for a little while now. He might be able to get those to line to the end, but I'm not too sure. We're just going to stay here as KR28 runs it all the way out to the edge of the gravel. Gets himself a half-second penalty for that. Tap Not quite close enough for a lunge. It'd have to be a no, brakes a little bit early. As KR28 goes very, very wide going into turn 1. Can't quite get the exit he's after. Iggy now comes in. Let's go further forward to BX. BX has come out on the softs as well. Now H Racing Green is got half a second to the back of FGR. FGR's going to very much lose the lead of this race to H Racing Green. So that lap's been much better for H Racing rather over FGR. FGR pulls over to the side, but we're going to stay with BX because Iggy's car's now only just being serviced. So if Iggy comes out now, it's going to be tight. No, it's not going to be tight. It's going to be very much advantage to BX. But I believe BX is going to have to stop again, whereas Iggy's done his one and only stop. He's gone from the mediums to the softs. So this might be an advantage to Iggy over most of these guys, apart from FGR. Let's go a little bit further back. Iggy's got himself a 6-second gap to Perry. Very, very healthy gap. Joe is having a little fight with Stra as we're going to go on board with him. Stra goes up the inside, got Stra on the softs, whereas Joe's on the mediums. And there he goes. Caught the tail end of that. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye out. Joe tries to re-attack, or at least put his car in Stra's mirrors at the moment. Not going to work this time. Tap in 8th. KR28 in 9th. Again, how does he use so much tyre unless he's on pad? There's no way you can use. It's got to be pad. Surely it's got to be pad. And the way he's just planting the throttle on the exit as well. I think it's pad. Fracas comes out in 10th. Lord Hans is in 11th. And then AB's bringing up the rear, but we're going to come back a bit further forward. That gap from FGR to H Racing is not really closing. It's closing down a little bit, but not by much. Iggy's very much closing in on the back of BX, but it's only taken about a 10th. No, not even 10th, a 100th of a second or so a lap. It's, yeah, I thought it was pad. I think these are the closest two on track at the moment. Oh no, FGR's got himself a 2-second penalty. I believe it was track limits. That's going to... Hopefully I have my rig for the next round. Yeah, it'd be good. So FGR's race is not going too well. He had a half-second penalty. Now he's got a 2-second penalty. If there was an engineer in here, they'd be telling BX to potentially make the hurry up, or even slow down to try and back Iggy off, because Iggy's only 2 seconds back from BX. So at least they can try and protect that second place for Starbucks and score the most points for the Starbucks team. As BX goes very wide, coming out of turn 4. I need to learn to count. I think he's going to get away with that. We're on lap 16 of 19. I believe there might be a driver or two yet to go onto the medium, so they might be waiting until the very, very end in the last minute. So we're going to stay on with FGR. He's definitely going to... I think he might come up behind Iggy. How far back is Perry? Nearly 6.5 seconds. Not close enough. So over comes FGR. Was that? That was even more. That was a 4-second penalty. Iggy's going to come. Yep, flying past. He's got the momentum. Goes up the inside. FGR, can he try and get his nose back up the inside? No, he can't. So Iggy gets up to third. BX gets second. H Racing Green, unless he has a penalty or a massive mistake, is potentially going to go on to win. But like I said, I believe BX and H Racing Green needs to make another stop, because I believe they need to put the mediums on yet. Again, I could be wrong. If I am wrong, you may correct me. Have I? To do it, hang on. Is it the softs? Sorry, softs must be used. Yeah, apologies. So, it was the softs that were mandatory. As BX has had a huge issue, he drops back off as I've been trying to check my facts, and someone has, and Wack has corrected me. So, apologies, it's not the mediums that are mandatory, it's the softs that are mandatory. So Iggy goes up into second position, BX drops down to third. BX's tyres have still got to get around another lap or two yet. So, Starbucks is now third and fourth, but bear in mind, BX is going to get half points for Starbucks, so it might be worth, if BX can't get ahead of Iggy, it might be worth these two swapping. These guys are the closest drivers on track at the moment. Perry is nearly 7 seconds off the back of this group. So if these guys can't get past Iggy, then it's going to be very, very safe for these guys to swap positions and get Starbucks the most amount of points possible. As RGF gets a half-second penalty, so does Iggy. So pressure's on. We're going to stay with this group as we come on to the final lap of this race. Oh, as FGR goes up the inside, as there's contact. There is contact between FGR and Iggy, so through goes BX. He's going to get second position. Iggy's been punted off. Cinematic camera not doing us any favours. He's going to have a little corner cut there. That might impact him a little bit. Let's stay on board the C. I think he just about got away with that. So Iggy and FGR have got a half-second penalty and had contact in turn 1. So this is just fed BX a P2, but 6 seconds up the road is H Racing Green, excuse me, with a 2-second penalty. But that's not going to matter because BX is miles behind. We're going to go a bit further forward to H Racing Green, who has had a very, very strong performance here at Cataluna. He's going to come over the line, take victory here at Cataluna. BX is going to come out the final corner, take second position with half points. Iggy's going to get third, FGR is going to get fourth, Perry's going to get fifth. Sorry, I didn't spend too much time looking at near the back of the grid because there was quite a bit going on further up ahead. Estrada's going to come around the final corner for the last time and get 6th. Tap around the final corner for the last time as well. It's going to get 7th. Not the race Tap I think hoped for, but it's a good position for Tap anyway. Joe making those mediums last towards the end is going to finish in 8th. Fracas is going to come around the last corner for 9th. Lord Hines is going to come around the final part of this track for 10th as Fracas does Fracas style. KR28 is going to finish in 11th, and AB is going to finish in 12th after being lapped. So yeah, my apologies, it was the softs that were mandatory, not the mediums. I thought it was the other way around. There we go, Lord Hands comes over the line for 10th position. So yeah, my apologies, it was softs that were the mandatory, not the mediums. I thought it was the other way around. My apologies. Come on, thank you. So with a lot of penalties in place, but it doesn't matter because Racing Green, excuse me, not HR Racing, H Racing Green is going to take first with nearly a 5-second lead over BX, who's going to score half points for Starbucks. We then got Iggy in third with OB, FGR in fourth with Starbucks as well. Perry's in fifth for the first car for GoDaddy with Estra in sixth. Taps in seventh, Joe's in eighth. Fracas ninth, Lord Hands in 10th, KR28 in 11th, and oh, there goes Iggy. Okay, well, that's a very abrupt end to the stream. Yeah, now I will not be here for day 4 because I am on shift at work. However, I should be able to cover the last chance, the semi-final and the final. So I will see you all very soon. Take care.